Have you ever felt utterly exhausted by the endless pursuit of self-improvement? Tired of being a project that never seems to be finished? We have been told to always strive to be a new version of ourselves every year. But what if this constant striving is actually a shadow, keeping you from your true liberation? You do all the right things, but you still feel like you are never enough. That relentless grind often hides a painful truth, a deep rejection of who you truly are. What if everything you have been told about fixing yourself is actually making you less free? Carl Jung once said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." True growth is not found in repairing your flaws, but in radically embracing every single part of your being. Today, we step off the machine. We are moving beyond societal shoulds to find a genuine peace that requires no effort at all. Welcome to Depth Journey, a safe space to stop fixing, to stop running, and to finally begin to truly bloom exactly as you are. Why does the seductive promise of new year, new me, always seem to end in a quiet sense of defeat? Have you ever noticed how our culture is obsessed with starting over? Every January, every Monday, every new self-help book promises a version of you that is finally enough. But for many of us, especially as we navigate our 50s, this relentless striving has become a chronic burden. We treat ourselves like outdated machines that need a constant software update. We fix our skin, we fix our weight, we fix our productivity, and we even try to fix our emotions. But why does this search for perfection leave us feeling so hollow? A recent psychological study found that 74% of women in midlife use the pursuit of self-improvement as a way to mask deep self-rejection. We are not actually growing, we are running. We are running away from the woman standing in the mirror because we have been told she is a project that needs to be finished. Think about the physical cost of this illusion. You feel it in the constant tightness of your shoulders, the shallow breath in your chest, and that nagging irritability when you haven't done enough today. This is self-improvement burnout. It is a quiet exhaustion that comes when your soul realizes that no amount of fixing will ever make you feel complete. We have mistaken being productive for being worthy. Jungian wisdom suggests that this endless striving is actually a defense mechanism. It is a way to avoid the uncomfortable silence of just being. We are afraid that if we stop striving, we will have to face our own perceived inadequacy. But what if that inadequacy is an illusion too? What if the woman you are trying so hard to fix is the very person you have been longing to meet? This relentless grind is not an act of self-love. It is a subtle form of violence against your own spirit. We trade our presence for a future promise of perfection, but that future never arrives. You are doing all the right things, yet the sting of disappointment remains. Therefore, it is time to ask, who created this project? And what is the shadow side of this pursuit of perfection that we have been so carefully hiding? Have you ever wondered why, the more you polish the surface of your life, the more the inside feels like it is crumbling? We live in an era of curated perfection. Every scroll on your phone, every advertisement presents a standard that is not just high, it is impossible. This is the shadow side of perfectionism. We have been conditioned to believe that our value is a project, something we must build, rather than something we already possess. In the world of Jungian shadow work, perfectionism is the thickest mask of all. We spend all our energy maintaining the persona of the competent and put-together woman. But what happens to the parts we deem unacceptable? What happens to the messy, the tired, the lazy, and the weak? We push them into the darkness of our own psyche. We exile them. And this is where the truly exhaustion begins. Jung believed that every part of the self that we reject becomes a source of massive psychic tension. Think of it like trying to hold a dozen beach balls underwater all at once. The effort is massive. It requires constant vigilance, and eventually it leads to a deep cellular burnout. This chronic anxiety you feel, that nagging sense of urgency even when you are resting, it is not about your schedule. It is the shadow of perfectionism. It is your banished parts banging on the door, desperate to be seen and acknowledged. When we are obsessed with self-improvement, we are essentially practicing a form of internal violence. We are telling our soul that who we are right now is a failure. We have mistaken fixing for growing. But true individuation, true wholeness, cannot exist in a space of self-rejection. The shadow side of striving is that it keeps you in a state of perpetual lack. You are always waiting for that future version of you, the one who has it all together, to finally start living. But that woman is a ghost. She does not exist. The only person who is real is the one standing in your skin right now, flaws and all. So we must ask, if we stop the fixing, what are we left with? How do we answer the call to something much deeper than improvement? Are you ready to discover the power of radical acceptance? Imagine, for just one moment, that there is absolutely nothing about you that needs to be fixed. Nothing to repair, nothing to upgrade, nothing to hide from the world. This is the invitation to radical acceptance. It is a concept that often feels like a direct threat to our achieving minds, especially for women who have spent decades being the glue for everyone else. We fear that if we stop striving for a better version, we will simply stop growing. We worry that we will become stagnant or irrelevant. But the wisdom of Jung teaches us exactly the opposite. Radical acceptance is not about giving up or surrendering to defeat. It is about standing on solid ground for the first time in your life. It is the difference between trying to build a house in the middle of a chaotic storm and waiting for the air to clear so you can finally see the terrain. The first step in this healing journey is simple: non-judgmental observation. I invite you to look at the specific parts of yourself that you have been trying to improve away. The anger you find unattractive, the anxiety you find weak, the deep exhaustion you label as lazy. Instead of condemning them, just witness them. Say to yourself, I see you, and you are permitted to be here. Consider the Japanese art of Kintsugi. When a beautiful ceramic vessel breaks, they do not throw it away. They do not hide the cracks with invisible glue. Instead, they fill those fissures with pure, glowing liquid gold. The break is not a failure. It is a sacred enhancement. Your perceived flaws are not mistakes in your design. They are the very places where your wisdom was forged through fire. They are the maps of your survival. I want to offer you a small but powerful script for your next mirror moment. When that internal critic starts its endless checklist of improvements, look yourself in the eyes. Take a deep breath that reaches your belly and say these words out loud. I am enough, right now, exactly as I am. No more projects, no more repairs. I am a masterpiece in progress, and I am already whole. Do you feel the release in your chest? The energy that was once used for constant suppression is now finally being returned to you. But when the striving ends, what takes its place? How do we begin to define a life that is truly our own? When the noise of constant striving finally fades, what is left? Many of us fear the silence because we have used our busyness as a shield. But in that quiet space, the most important work of your life begins. Jung called this process individuation. It is not about becoming a better version of yourself. It is about becoming a whole version of yourself. For decades, your identity has been defined by external validation. You sought approval through your roles as a mother, a partner, and a professional. Success was a target you had to hit, a standard you had to maintain. But true individuation asks you to shift your gaze. It invites you to define success on your own terms, based on your internal peace, rather than an external applause. When you stop trying to fix your shadow, and instead start to integrate it, you become resilient in a way you never thought possible. You no longer leak energy by trying to hide your imperfections. You finally realize that your darkness, your anger, your messy emotions, they are the very things that give your light its depth. There is no longer a gap between who you are and the performance you give to the world. This is where genuine personal power resides. It is the quiet confidence of a woman who is no longer at war with her own spirit. This new state of being, it radiates from you naturally. It is not a manufactured glow. It is the light of wholeness. You are finally inhabiting your own life, flaws and all. Imagine waking up and your first thought is not what you need to improve, but how you can simply nourish the woman you already are. Your well-being is no longer a chore on a to-do list. It is the foundation of your existence. You are moving beyond the exhaustion of striving and stepping into a path that is finally sustainable. Therefore, your presence becomes your greatest contribution to the world. But how do we practically maintain this state of being in a world that still demands perfection? How do we turn this radical acceptance into a daily rhythm of peace? Happiness does not lie at the end of a long and exhausting road of self-improvement. It lies in the very first step of radical self-acceptance. For too long, you have treated yourself like a machine to be repaired, but you are not a project. You are a living, breathing soul. It is time to shift your rhythm from fixing to nurturing, from striving to being. You are unique, not because you are perfect, but because you are authentically you. Let us affirm this new path together. Please write in the comments right now, enough, and share one thing you are finally done trying to fix about yourself today. This space is your sanctuary for wholeness. Your journey of integration has just begun. Once you accept who you are now, you will realize that your past versions are not lost. Join me for our next exploration. Your past selves are not dead. Remembering your discarded chapters.
We will learn how to weave every version of you into a beautiful whole. Our channel is here to guide you toward lasting peace. Until next time, stop the chase and finally inhabit your own life. Keep breathing and stay whole.